Hi guys, Flatmeister here. Let's have a look, shall we? Just hang on a second. Let's have a... What the fuck? Alright. Oh, this. Why do you do this to me? So, on Twitter, as usual, I should recommend this guy to follow. One Angry Gamer, really good blog site. Speaks a lot about censorship and localization issues. But you guys might remember this. House party. Yes, they find house party problematic. So problematic that people who have no intention of actually fucking playing the game to make a concerted effort to actually pressure and bully Steam into removing it, into removing house party. It got banned. Received too many complaints, and there's also was an update. This was the 27th. It was the 26th originally of July, then updated on the 27th. The developer states that certain groups complained to Valve that House Party was pornographic and it had to be removed from Steam. Check my hairs alright. Ah, for goodness sake, like, gamers are barred from buying the game, apparently. And it's not just SJW. Well, SJWs come on both sides of the political spectrum. It's not just the regressive liberal left. It's the hardline Christian right. You know, the right is going. I mean, there's a. In this article here, won't somebody think of the children? They pulled that one. They actually. Where's the right go? The right actually said, this Christian group said, we have to think of the 35 million children. Again, this idea that video games are a toy, that they're for kids, they're for children. No, they're not. The industry has fucking grown exponentially. It's grown that it's mainly marketed towards the mature audience. Oh, I've got the burps from that coffee. You know, the industry has grown exponentially. It's boomed. It's sonic boomed. You know that it's not for children anymore. You know, there's certain consoles that are aimed towards kids, and most of gaming is aimed at mature audience. So yeah, the right go, think of the children, and the left says, think of the women and misogyny and objectification and representation and... Give me a fucking break. For those wondering about the Steam removal, they said they took the game down because they received a lot of complaints. They are honouring all sales made, and people who purchase can still play right now and will still receive updates for life. That's straight from the developer. I'm talking to Steam and working on the details, but the game will still be available for those who purchased and will be back once we come to a solution. So the developer Eek Studios have been working on censoring themselves. This is what SJWs do. They seek to destroy, not to create. They want to tear down the established people, established businesses and studios, and just anyone. They want to just tear it all down. Nobody, no fun allowed. However, the game will no longer be available on Steam, with the developers continue to roll out updates while Valve has been barred from the store. While the game has been barred from the store. The game was up for several months on Steam, way before, so Steam obviously had no problem with having this game on their platform until some people complain. The article goes and mentions some gamers feel as if the removal was due to the hardcore uncensored sex scenes present in the title and the unfiltered nudity. Ugh. However, Valve has let games like Lady Killer in a Bind, think I've heard this, on Steam in all of its entirety, which featured an uncensored rape scenes with actual penetration. When reached for comment about the obvious double standard in play regarding Lady Killer in a Bind, Valve opted not to respond. Gee, I wonder why. I wonder why. Is it because the SJWs will then attack Valve, saying, "Oh, but what about other games? There's other games. This has happened to a similar game. Hatred. It was an isometric top-down shooter, sort of black and white. You played as this grungy-looking guy in a trench coat, and you just executed everybody and anybody. And you you regained health by doing these executions on people. It was quite graphic and gory. Just shoving shotguns in people's faces, point blank range, and shooting people's heads off. And that game got, it got banned, and eventually, from pressure from gamers saying, "Steam, bring this back. We want to play this game. This game does. How come games like GTA 5 can exist where you can shoot everybody and anybody?" There's other games on Steam that have sexual and violent content, such as The Witcher 3, heavily story-orientated. Yes, I know that the sex parts aren't part of the main story compared to House Party. But, sex scenes all the same, Mass Effect Andromeda. You got a fucking Polygon writing articles going, "Oh goody, some space soft porn. There's going to be actual sex scenes." Yes, it's okay because they toe the line with your political and social justice narratives. The people at BioWare, they agree with you on things. They're progressive. So it's okay for them to have sex scenes. GTA 5 and Witcher 3 have explicit sex scenes and they're allowed on Steam, yet House Party isn't allowed. Like I was saying with Hatred, eventually with pushback from the gamers, it got reinstated. There's other erotic or ecchi games on Steam. SJWs again complain. If you have no intention of fucking buying the game, don't buy it. Move along. Find a game. Stop being moral fucking crusaders going, "For the women, for misogyny, against misogyny." Apparently they are going to look to censor the content. They're going to self-censor. But according to this update on One Angry Gamer on his blog, on the updated article, it says Steam didn't respond. Valve never responded as to why Lady Killer in a Bind was allowed on the service in uncensored fashion, but other games weren't. Some people concluded that because the developer was trans and heavily promoted by SJW Gaming Media, it was socially progressive to allow the game on the service without censorship. Oh, let's have another sip of... Just... That's why they didn't respond. That's why Valve didn't respond, because they knew they would be at the ire and the wrath of SJWs, even though SJWs don't fucking buy the games. But when I was looking through and I found another article by some website here, Critical Hits, and the headline, I immediately knew where this journalist was heading with this. Trashy sex game House Party pulled from Steam. House Party, a game about getting wasted and trying to have digital girls to have sex with you, has been yanked from Steam. The game proved controversial, with claims that it was misogynistic and vulgar. Like I said in my last video, just because that content and themes are within the game, it's possible the developer is exploring those themes, not endorsing or agreeing with them. Yeah, you understand? It's American House Pie the Simulator. I said that in my last fucking video. The whole thing seems firmly rooted in frat boy culture. That's what I fucking said. With a large focus on smooth talking, fighting other men, and coercing women to unclothe. They are literal walking stereotypes of people at parties, based on American Pie the Simulator, based on American Pie, based on reality. Like I said, watch my previous video. After a month on the service, Valve has pulled it. The watered down version, in quotations, a watered down version may see it return. Here we go. There's the, just like John Walker, while I'm not the puritanical sort, and I believe that people should make the games they want to make, there is some... but... While I'm not puritanical... But he basically says that. Again, same as John Walker. And I believe that people should make the games they want to make. There is some genuinely questionable content in House Party. One mission, as an example, has you hacking a woman's phone, then blackmailing her to perform sexual acts, lest you share intimate pictures of her online. It's a little bit rapey and completely douchey. Yes, in real life that would be really douchey. Not the sort of thing I would do. That's doxing someone. That's revenge porn. Yeah, that stuff is shitty behaviour. But this is within the confines and parameters and the safety of a game. I wish the mainstream media and the gaming press would stop crafting this narrative that games and media can affect you and change your perception of reality. Yeah, I'm fucking clued in. I'm clued into reality. I'm plugged in, you know. I'm not some fucking dickhead. Oh, I am calm. My body is a temple. I am calm. Right, on with the rest of the article. It's quite a short little article. You can tell it's just a little hit piece with, well, that's why it's called critical hits. Fucking trash. Calling the game trash, yeah, your fucking site is trash. Of course, the developer is blaming the game's removal on the sex and nudity as opposed to the questionable content. So here's a statement from the developer Eek. I understand where Steam is coming from, developer Eek says in a blog post. They are responding to an alarming societal perception of sex and nudity as something evil. Even more so than murder, genocide, torture and gore, which is widely accepted and prevalent in most other video games that are offered up on Steam and many other gaming platforms. I don't agree with Steam's decision, but I respect it. I was hoping that their allowance of the game for well over a month, like I said just earlier, during which time it has been a top seller, was indicative of Steam stepping forward and acknowledging this hypocrisy and taking a stance on it. But it seems that the removal was either a case of the game falling through the cracks or a response from the pressure of the community members who were very aggressively calling for Steam's removal of the game at the expense of those who enjoy it. I am most upset about the people who have bought and enjoy the game, who will now receive a watered down version of the game, because for some groups it's not enough to boycott or just simply ignore a product they don't like. They have to ensure nobody else is allowed to enjoy it also. Like I said, SJWs, you seek to destroy, not create. Look at Marvel sales. Nobody's, I'm not going to get off track, but basically Marvel sales are going down the toilet because the writers that you've hired are messing about with established characters. You're free to create that comic, but it's in the meritocracy of the marketplace of free ideas. People haven't bought your comics, then fine, it fails and bang. Marvel then fires you, and then that's just how business works. People go, oh, okay, I'm not interested in the product, I won't buy it, fine. And if it fails because it didn't make enough money, then that's fine. The same could have happened with House Party. If people weren't interested, like, okay, not sort of game I'm interested in, I'm not going to buy it. And then it fails and flops. But no, you have to actively seek out and destroy, try and drag someone down. People aren't doing this to these Marvel writers going, oh, fire them. People are free to criticise, but be constructive. Like I said, with Marvel messing about with established characters, changing the canon of stories and stories. People are free to, criticise. Anyway, back to the critical hits article. This final little paragraph, it's just a tiny little article, but it's just basically a hit piece. So after the statement from Eek, the Eek developer, the author of the article then says, "That's a nice bit of spin, and to some extent I do agree. Society as a whole views sex and nudity as a greater evil than murder and death. I also believe that adults should be allowed to make their own choices, but that doesn't make House Party any less trashy." It's meant to be a silly game. It's not meant to be completely taken seriously. It is a silly game. I said this in my last video. I hate having to repeat myself. There was a Christian group in the UK that also sought to get this banned. It also comes down to Valve at the moment. They don't have an ID check to ensure that the people that are accessing these games aimed at mature people are over the age of 18. You know, apparently the UK wants to implement their ID check by April 2018, and services offering adult or pornographic material will need the necessary tools in place. Otherwise, they will be fined or blocked by ISPs. The game is comical and stupid, and it's a silly game. It's a over-exaggeration and a stereotype on the fraternity culture, the frat party culture. Eek Games further states that the game is meant to be funny, yeah, like I said, funny, comical, and that the sex and nudity is only a small part of the overall puzzle and adventure aspects, but that certain groups such as SJWs have been intent on getting the game removed from Steam. And so the developer says, the game is meant to be funny and I advertise it as a raunchy comedy adventure. The amount of on-screen sex and nudity is very small in comparison to the rest of the gameplay. Unfortunately, because I chose to write a game about sex, this sets off a few alarms with some groups. All Angry Gamers article here, he says about John Walker and Rock Paper Shotgun's article on House Party, saying, John Walker, the author of the piece, doesn't claim that the game is misogynistic. Well, he does. I thought he said he claimed that it was a misogynistic pile of shit. The author of the piece doesn't claim that the game is misogynistic in the article, but he subversively sets up the piece to focus on the talking points, so that the comment section is led to that natural conclusion: you shouldn't be playing a game on Steam that is misogynistic, or you shouldn't be playing a misogynistic game. So I kind of disagree with one Angry Gamer there on the bit. You know, he does. John Walker calls this game a misogynistic pile of shit. But there's some light at the end of the tunnel. There is some light at the end of the tunnel. Just another sip of coffee, or SJW tears, as this happy ending comes upon us. Oh, one more bit. House Party returns to Steam. Censored. Uncensored patch is available for download. That's some good news. Our last update, this was the 29th of July. So again, like I was saying, with the regressive liberal left saying, think of the children and misogyny, and the right, the Christian right, sort of hardline going, think of the millions of children. This game isn't aimed at children. Stop thinking that video games are inherently a child's toy or something. They're not. Either way, the game has been restored to the Steam storefront in its censored form. The simulated sex segments have to be removed in order for the game to be made available on the Steam storefront. According to the developer, Valve still has some rules and regulations to abide by, which almost makes it seem as if perhaps Valve was threatened in some ways to remove House Party. Of course, a lot of people brought House Party for its uncensored content, and in a post over on the official Eek Games website, they announced that an uncensored patch would be available, made to those who already own the game, and those who plan to purchase the game can still play it the way it was originally intended to be played. That's good. So you can apparently grab the uncensored patch from Eek Games patch page. And so, of course, some people were hoping that the developers would stick to their guns and not censor the game at all. However, they informed their fans that had they had not censored the game, it wouldn't be allowed on Steam at all, stating, "Now I know that many of you who take issue with the fact that you brought a non-censored game and now aspects of the game are censored. There doesn't seem to be any issue with providing an off-Steam patch to users to restore the game to its original form, as many other games do so overtly do. So we will be releasing a small and easy to install patch that you can apply to your game. It's the best that we are able to do at the given current situation, and we hope our Steam players understand. It's not ideal, but the alternative was that we would not be able to return to Steam, and if the game doesn't grow, it makes it harder for us to hire on and make the game better. However, it wasn't just Steam where the game may have been made unavailable. The religious right and the regressive left were also working together to get the game removed from itch.io and game.jolt, with journalists from gamesindustry.biz contacting other digital distributors in hopes of getting the game removed from other platforms. And here's these feminists mocking gamers going, "Ew, it's so funny seeing them cry. We're not trying to take your games away." Yeah, you are trying to take games away from the developer. You're taking their game away. Something that they've worked fucking years on, working hard. You are trying to take their game away from them. You're taking away the opportunity for people to enjoy their game. And there's been similar... this sort of tactic is not foreign to such groups, as they also attempted to defund Sargon by trying to get his Patreon account closed. They did the same with Lauren Southern, her Patreon account, as reported by Mundane Matt and the Daily Caller. According to Eek Games, back to House Party, according to Eek Games, the story is still 100% intact and the rest of the gameplay still there. The only thing that was moved from the Steam version were the sex acts. You can now purchase the early access edition of House Party from over on the Steam store for $15, $14.99. If you plan on experiencing the full uncensored version of the game, you'll have to download the patch separately. So the good news is it's been reinstated, and that you have to go through to Eek Games page to get the patch to have the stuff put back in. So it is kind of a victory still. Steam, you got to sort yourselves out. Get your house in order, Steam. Yes, you've got to make sure that you've got age restriction checks in place. Are you 18 or over? Steam, why do you give in to these? They're not bringing any money to your business. They're not bringing money to your business. Steam, Valve, you are a business at the end of the day, and what matters most is money. That sweet money. That's what matters most. And if you're listening to these dickheads, these SJWs from both sides, they're not bringing you any fucking money. They're not bringing you any money at all. Because then you're going to... When you give in to these SJWs, you piss off the developer, and then you piss off the consumer. People that wanted to buy that game, they're like, well, why should I invest money in more games on Steam? Why should I be paying you money if you're going to keep censoring artists and developers and creators? If you keep doing that, what's the fucking point? They're not bringing you any money at all. So much suck! But what do you guys think? Is obscene game, is this obscene content, is this too obscene? Or should any game be able to explore any boundary they want and be able to upload on Steam? I'd like to hear what you guys think. Write a comment down. I'm Flatmeister. Don't forget to do like and subscribe things. In closing, House Party and Eek developer, Eek Studios. I wish you the best of luck for House Party. Jeffrey Tim, the journalistic critical hit gaming. Fuck you. And John Walker from Rock Paper Shotgun. Fuck you. One Angry Gamer. Nice one on keep reporting on the I'm reporting on all the updates on this story as it progressed. So yeah, subscribe to follow One Angry Gamer on Twitter at One Angry Gamer. Keep up the good work, Billy D. He's the author at One Angry Gamer. So yeah, I'll catch you guys in the next video. No more SJW tears. Yeah, none left. Peace.